In this video, we're going to be making ourselves a simple web page that is also responsive, meaning that it can be viewed across different devices, such as a desktop computer and a laptop, a tablet, such as an iPad, and also mobile phones. When our user changes their screen resolution, you'll notice that the web page also changes with it. So this is what the web page would look like if someone was to view it on a desktop computer. Okay, if we are to resize our browser and bring it down to the size of an iPad screen, which is about there, you'll notice that the heading gets a bit smaller and the picture, instead of being right aligned on the page, jumps across to the center of the page. As we bring in our screen resolution even smaller down to a mobile phone screen size, almost there, there we are, the heading gets smaller again, as does the picture. The text stays the same throughout, but we do resize our header up the top here and the picture just to make it more suitable for the screen that our users would be using. Okay, so this is what we're going to be making. I'm just going to close that off now. To get started today, you will need to make yourself a new folder in your account. I've called it Brownies. Inside of that Brownies folder, you're going to need to have the blank.html template there, and also an images folder. And inside the images folder, you should have a picture of the brownies themselves. Once you've got those folders set up, you need to open this blank HTML file in brackets. When you open it up in brackets, this is what you're going to see. Basically, it's the recipe. It tells you how to make the brownies. Okay, it's just going to save you a bit of time typing all that up. Alright, so what I want you to do once you've opened the blank HTML file is resave it. So go to File and Save As. It's going to be saved in the same place as the blank one, but we're just going to give it a different name, and I'm just going to call it brownies.html. Make sure you have .html on the end, as that way the computer can recognize that you are making a web page. Once you've saved it, you are ready to start coding this web page up. Okay, so in the very first line, just press enter a few times just to push all that other text out of the way. And we're going to start today by putting in our doc type tag. So put it in some pointy brackets with an exclamation mark and write the word doc type and put HTML after it. That's basically telling the computer that we are making a HTML document today, which is a website. On the next line, we can start building that website now. So put in your HTML tags, and then indented from those HTML tags, so press tab once, I want you to put in your head tags. Okay, inside the head section, we put in a title. And the title for our web page today is Nutella Caramel Hazelnut, oops, spelled that wrong, Hazelnut Brownies. Makes me hungry just looking at that. But that's what's going to appear at the top of our web page in the little tab at the very top of our web browser. Okay, that's all the title does. We are going to put in another line of code just underneath the title a bit later on. I'm not going to do it just yet though, so just leave a space there. Make sure your head section is closed off, and we're going to go below that head section now, and we're going to put in our body tags. So it's now time to do up the section that's going to appear inside our web browser. Anything you put inside the body tags will appear inside the web browser. Okay, and the first thing we want to appear is a header. So I'm going to write in the header tags, and inside the header tags I'm going to type in H1, which makes it nice and big, and I'm just going to write the name of the brownies again. So Nutella Caramel Hazelnut Brownies. And remember, the reason why we write that a second time is because this title doesn't actually appear in the body or the main part of the web browser. That's what appears at the very top in the little tab. This is what we're going to have appearing inside the web browser, nice big letters. Okay, so make sure your H1 tag is closed off and your header tag is closed off as well. That's the top of our web page done. Coming in after that, we're going to put a picture. We're going to put that picture in a little section, okay, section of its own. Okay, so put in the section tags and just write img space src, which stands for image source, equals, brackets will help you here. Simply click on your images folder and click on the brownies.jpg picture and close your pointy brackets. That is going to insert that brownies picture on your web page. If you press Ctrl S to save your page now and go and preview it, I'm going to press the little quick preview button on the right hand side there. We're going to get an idea of what's happening on our web page so far. Okay, so we've got a nice big heading at the top. This is our H1 header. There's our title at the top, so it renames the tab at the top of the page. And here's our big picture. Below that we've got all the ingredients and the methods still to come, but so far we're just worried about this top section. It's looking how I'd expect it to. A little bit ugly, but it's got what we need. Okay, coming in below the section, we've got our ingredients. Okay, so it's all this writing down here. So let's cut out the ingredients by pressing Ctrl X, and we're going to paste them in underneath the section. You might need to highlight some of that and just tab it across, so press the tab key a few times. Now, what we need to do is put ingredients into a H3 header. Okay, so don't forget to cut the closing tag out and paste it at the end, so you've got H3 tags around the word ingredients. That just makes the word ingredients stand out a little bit from the actual ingredients by making it into a little header. Now, coming in below the ingredients, just here is the list of all the bits and pieces we need to make this dish. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put it into bullet points, and the way we do that is make an unordered list. So put in the UL tag. Just cut out the closing UL tag and paste it at the bottom there. Okay, so you've got UL and UL tags, and in between all those we've got all the bits and pieces used to make the brownies. I'm just going to highlight all those ingredients and press tab just to nudge them across one. And to actually make the bullet points appear, what we need to do is use the list item, or the LI tag, next to each one of these ingredients. So next to the first one I'm going to write LI, and then cut out the closing LI tag and put it at the end. Okay, so that's what makes a bullet point, those little LI tags. So it's a matter of copying and pasting those LI tags now next to every one of the ingredients. A little bit tedious, but it doesn't take too long. Then you also need to copy the closing LI tags and stick those at the end of each of those ingredients. Okay, so we've now got an unordered list, and each list item is a new bullet point. If we save that up and have a preview, you can see down here that's what it's looking like. We've got our bullet points in now. Now, a cool little feature with HTML, we can actually change how this half and how this quarter and how this third look. So we can change the look of fractions and make them look a little bit more realistic. Okay, it does involve a bit of copying and pasting again, but I'll show you how it's done. The first thing we need to do is put in some superscript, which basically means the top part of the fraction. So that's the number 1 on this first one. So what we do is put sup in pointy brackets, put it around the number 1. So there it is there. Got the sup opening tag, then the number 1, and then the sup closing tag. And next to our sup tags here, we've got this little /, which is basically the fraction line. We're going to delete that, and we're going to put in the professional one by putting the ampersand symbol, or the and symbol, writing FRA, and then SL with a semicolon. That basically puts in the fraction line that's going to appear between our two numbers. Okay, finally we've got the number 2 here, where we just need to put in the subscript tags. So they are done by typing in sub in pointy brackets. Okay, so we put in sub, have our number 2, and then put in the closing sub tag. Alright, so this here, as confusing as it looks, makes a half fraction. Okay, remember the sub tags put the top number in our fraction, then we put the fraction line in, and finally the subscript tags put the number below the fraction line. If we save that and have a look, we've now got this little fraction here. Okay, you've got superscript at the top, subscript at the bottom, and the fraction line running through the middle. We want to do that for all the other fractions you can see in this ingredients list. So it's a copy and paste job. First of all, I'm going to copy the sup tag. Everywhere I see a fraction, I'm going to put it before the fraction. So it's just copying and pasting. Then I'm going to copy the closing sup tag and that little fraction section, as well as the sub tag. Okay, so I'm going to copy 3 things all in once here, and I'm just going to highlight the little forward dash and paste it in. Okay, so in between those other fractions, I'm just going to paste in what I've copied. So that's looking good. Finally, we're just going to copy the closing sub tag and put it after those numbers. Okay, so there, and there. Okay, didn't take too long in the end, but just double check to make sure all your fractions look the same as that. When you're done, save it, test it. Okay, make sure your fractions are looking how they should. Okay, after a quick glance, they do look pretty good. So that's my ingredients list all done for now. Okay, what we're going to do now is make space for the method section. Okay, you've still got this method section down the bottom that we're going to cut out. So just highlight it all and press Ctrl X. And below the unordered list, just paste it in. You may need to highlight some of it and just tab it across. What we're going to do first of all, like we've done with the ingredients up here, we're going to put H3 tags around the method just to make it into a little bit of a subheader. Okay, so there's the H3 tags around the method. Now this time, instead of making an unordered list, which creates bullet points, we're going to create the other type of list, which is an ordered list. So open up your brackets and type in OL. Now an ordered list is basically numbered bullet points. They're in a specific order. Okay, so what we do is put the OL tags around each of those 5 different paragraphs and put an LI tag before each of those paragraphs. That's going to create a list item. Okay, so each time we write LI, it adds a new bullet point in. In this case, it's a numbered bullet point. At the end of each paragraph, you need to close off your list item tags. So copy them and just paste those closing LI tags at the end of each paragraph. You may need to highlight those paragraphs and just give them the tab across, so indent them so they're inside the ordered list tags. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I think if we press Ctrl S to save that, we should see that we've now got numbered bullet points in our method. Okay, so that's basically got everything we need now in our web page. What we have to do now is style it up using a bit of CSS. Okay, so to style up our page and make it look pretty, we need to make a new document up. Okay, before we start typing, we're going to go to File and Save As and save this new document as a style sheet. So go back to the folder where you're saving all this work. There it is, my Brownies folder, and where you can see your brownies.html page, we're just going to save this one as style.css. Okay, so where we add some color and style to our page. Once you've saved it as style.css, we need to link the HTML document to that style sheet. So any changes we make to the style sheet or anything we write on the style sheet, they'll be applied to this HTML document. Okay, so quickly go back to your HTML document and go up the top in the head section, just beneath the title section. You might remember me saying we're going to come back here and add in a line of text. Well, we're going to do that now. So we write the word link space rel equals and choose style sheet, then write href equals, and then we just want to write in style.css and then close our pointy brackets. So that line of code right there basically connects our HTML document or our web page to the style sheet we're about to create. Okay, so let's start making this style sheet up. Okay, the first thing I like to style up is always the body. Okay, and before I do start styling, it's always important to know as well that we always style up the mobile phone version of our web page first. Okay, so we're going to start with a small screen like this. And as we style this up, we're going to get bigger and style it up for the tablet then. So we'll change some font sizes and the image size, and then we eventually spread it all the way out to the desktop size and then format our page for the desktop view. But for now, let's style up this mobile phone section. What I'm going to put in first is a comment. Okay, so I'm going to do a /, an asterisk, and I'm going to write mobile phone formatting. Then I'm going to press the asterisk and a /. This isn't actually code. This is known as a comment. And that's just plain English that anyone can read. So if they were to get into your code and have a read of this document, people will know straight away that the code below that is what makes the mobile phone formatting look good. Okay, so let's start formatting the mobile phone version of this web page. First thing I want to style up is the body section. Okay, so back in our Brownies HTML document here, we've got body tags. everything between those body tags, which is basically everything on the page that you'll see, we want to style up. Okay, so right, body, open up your curly braces. First thing you want to change is the font family. We're going to change it to sans-serif. Then we're going to change the font size to 1 EM. We're going to change the line height to 1.5 EM. And finally the background color, so just write background. We're going to change that to, I'm going to use a hexadecimal code here, so write hashtag FFFCD6. Put a semicolon to finish. If you hover over that number or that code, you can see that I've chosen a light yellow as my background color. So that's the body section styled up. If we save that and have a look, you'll see that we've now got a yellow background. Our font is a bit easier to read now as well. Okay, it's also got a bit of line height in it, so a bit of space in between each of the lines. So far so good. Next thing I want to style up is the header section. Okay, so right in the header tag, if you remember back in our HTML, we've got this header section at the top that says Nutella Caramel Hazelnut Brownies. We're just going to style that up. So in the header section, open up your curly braces. All we're going to do is change the background color. So write background. Again, I'm going to use another hexadecimal code. I'm going to write 672B00. Put a semicolon. Then I'm going to put in some padding. So I'm going to write padding dash top, set 5 pixel. And then padding bottom is set to the same of 5 pixel. So that puts a little bit of extra breathing room around the top and bottom of that section. If we have a look now, you can see we've got this nice chocolatey or brown colour. We've got a little bit of space above the words and below the words. Okay, so that's the header section all done. Next we're going to style up the H1 tag. So inside that header section we have a H1 heading, which is basically the writing. So what we're going to do there is change its colour. Again, this time it's going to be hashtag FFE4A8. That's just going to be a light yellowy orange kind of colour. Then we're going to center that text in the middle of the page, so text align should be center. Font size, as this is a heading, we just want it to be a little bit bigger than usual, so let's make it 1.5 EM. Which makes it 1.5 times its normal size, and the line height should be the same, so 1.5 EM. Alright, if you save that and have a look, you should see our header now. It's looking pretty nice. We've got that nice light colour and it's centre aligned with a bit of line spacing between it. Okay, so that's looking nice. H1 section done. Next header we want to work with is the H3 header. Now the H3 headers are these ones, the ingredients and the method. It's going to give them a little bit of style. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just change colour. So colour, and I'm going to set it to chocolate. Since we're making some chocolate brownies, I think chocolate might be a suitable colour for our H3 headings. So you can see that they're now a little bit different in colour. What else have we got? We've got the image we want to style up. Okay, a little bit big at the moment, so put in the IMG tag. The way we style up the image, we're going to put a border around it first, so border dash width, set it to 2 pixels, and the border style, so border dash style is going to be solid. We also want to change the colour of the border, so border dash colour, and I'm just going to use another hexadecimal code, so hashtag 672B00. That's the same colour as our header background, as you can see. Don't forget your semicolon at the end. If you save that and have a look, you'll see the picture now has a dark brown border around it. Alright, let's keep going on this image. Something else we want to do is put in some margins, so margin dash left, we'll set it to 20 pixels, and margin dash top, oops, we'll set that to 20 pixels as well. And finally the max width of this picture, so the maximum that's allowed to go is 70% of the page. Okay, so write 70% for the max width. So there is a lot of formatting there, but let's just press Ctrl S to save that and we'll go and test this out. Here we go, so it's looking pretty good. Nice header there, Picture's looking good, writing's looking fine. It's actually almost a finished website. I'll just stretch that out a bit. Yeah, image isn't looking too bad. Doesn't go any bigger than 70% of the page, which is pretty good for now. But remember, we are just styling up the mobile phone section, so this is the size we're looking at the minute. One thing I would like to do is get that picture centered. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is go below this image section on our style sheet, and we're going to write in the words section. If we just have a look back at the HTML for a sec, remember that our picture comes inside these section tags. So if we tell everything inside those section tags to be centered, then our picture should go across to the center of the page. Okay, so open up the curly braces under that section line there and just write text-align, choose center. I know we are centering an image, but if we center it that way, that's going to work fine. So if we test it now, you can see our picture is smack bang in the center of the page there, which is looking good. What else have we got? Our unordered lists. Okay, one last thing I might do, if we just scroll down here, is just reduce the size of the black text under each subheading there. So what we do there, we can do it in one hit. First of all, we want to style up the ordered lists, which is the method. We also want to style up the unordered list. So we just put a comma and write the UL tag as well. So that'll style up both of our lists in one go. Now basically all we want to do here is just change the font size. So font-size, you can make it whatever you want. I'm just going to make it 0.9 EM, so it's almost 1 EM, which is the normal size, so a little bit smaller than the normal size. Alrighty, so that should do us. That's our mobile section all styled up. If we have a look at it, it should be a pretty decent, I'll just turn these blue boxes off, it should be a decent looking little web page. Okay, so that looks good. What we want to do next is style this up for tablets or iPads. Okay, that's somewhere around this sort of size. Right, that picture gets quite large, so we might need to adjust how that picture looks, and this image, the text up the top here needs to get a little bit bigger as well, since we have a bit more room to play with. So what I'm going to do is go right to the bottom and just press enter a few times, and I'm going to put in a comment first of all. So I'm going to do a / an asterisk, and I'm going to write tablet formatting. Hit my asterisk, hit my / and just close that comment off. Alright, so at the moment, when we're in the tablet size of our screen, basically it's got all this styling on it, which is pretty good. It's just a couple of things I want to change though. So what we need to do is write @ using the @ symbol, and then media, space screen, space and then in brackets min-width : 480 pixels. So that's basically saying when our screen is 480 pixels or larger, what do we want to do? Okay, so go to the next line and open up some curly braces, and inside those curly braces, first thing we want to do is style up our H1 header again. Okay, so do your H1 tag, open up some more curly braces, and just change the font-size to 2 EM. So it's double its original size. Alright. After that, I'm going to go down and put in the IMG or the image tags, open up the curly braces, and what we want to do here is change the max width. Let's try 60%, so a little bit smaller than what it would be up here. Okay, put a semicolon and save that, and let's go and test it. Okay, that looks pretty good there, but let's go back to mobile view first. Looks good as we stretch it up. Pretty much in tablet view now. You can see the heading's a bit bigger and the picture looks nice. Okay, so our tablet view is working well. That's all I want to change in the tablet view. I think the text down below looks good. Everything's easy to read, picture looks fine, so let's keep rolling. What I'm going to do next is put in another comment. Okay, and so I'm going to go below everything I've written so far, do a /, do an asterisk, and I'm going to write desktop formatting. So now we're going to format the page so it suits a desktop computer or a laptop. So we do the same thing again where we write an at media only screen and set the min width to 768 pixels. So now what we're going to do is we're going to style up our web page for anyone using a screen that is 768 pixels or larger. So basically anyone on a laptop or a desktop computer. We'll open up our curly braces on the next line there, and we're going to put in the H1 heading first of all. So H1, on the next line, open the curly braces, and we're going to adjust the font dash size. The size we want it to is 3em, so 3 times its normal size. The last thing you want to do is style up the image, so put in the img tag, press enter, open the curly braces, and we're going to float it to the right this time. What that does is just pushes our picture to the right hand side of the page rather than being in the middle. So at this size on a tablet, the picture's in the middle. You watch as we get bigger to the desktop version, you'll see the picture now float on the right side of the page with the text running around it. You might have also noticed that the heading at the top got a bit bigger. Last thing I'm going to do with this image is just set its max width to 50%. Then we can save it, and that's basically the desktop formatting done as well. So that's all we want to change, the H1 heading and the image size, just to make them both a little bit bigger when we're viewing it in our desktop mode. Okay, so if I stretch this right out, that's basically what our desktop mode is going to look like. Nice big heading, the text flows nicely around the picture, everything else is looking pretty good. Alrighty, so a couple of things to take out of this. Remember, these are comments, the little pieces of grey writing that just tell people in plain English what's happening in the code below. So we've got mobile formatting, we've got tablet formatting, and we've got desktop formatting. Remember, always start with the mobile phone formatting. You want to get your web page looking good for mobile phone devices first, then build it up into the tablet formatting stage, and then finally the desktop formatting. Okay, so it looks good on a desktop computer. But that is it, I think, so make sure it's all saved. Whoops, I'm just deleting brackets when I shouldn't be. And I think you're done, so I'll save that, check the brownies. Yeah, everything's working well there. Okay, good luck.